What's going on, beautiful people? Almighty Tevin here, and I'm here to report for you. I'm here to report on some bullshit, which is main and basically I'm already fucking up, which is basically what I do with DSP. It's really late at night. I'm ready to eat nachos. This might be a fucking all-nighter for me because I'm kind of rambling here in the beginning, but fuck it. But yeah, I got shit I gotta edit. I got shit I gotta upload. I don't know how I'm gonna fucking upload all the videos I want to upload within the time frame I want to upload them. There's videos I recorded fucking 2-3 weeks ago I ain't upload yet. It's a lot of shit. I'm having a content overload right now. It's to the point I'm in bed at night fucking making text messages on my phone of shit that I need to upload eventually. But anyway, here to report on some bullshit. And of course, it's bullshit dealing with DSP. That's usually the only bullshit I report on. I don't want to be a YouTuber that just talks about bullshit all day and basically turn it into like some kind of drama alert type shit. Anyway, I'm rambling. Pretty much what happened today, and I have headset, right? Pretty much what happened today, a good friend, Dark Surfer Phil, he did a pre-stream as usual. It's typical DSP bullshit. He did a pre-stream. He didn't record the pre-stream. He even said before he went on his rant that he wasn't recording it. But he talked about a good friend, Jim fucking Sterling's son. And I'm not going to really give my opinion on Jim fucking Sterling's son in this video. If you know how I feel about him, you know how I feel about him. If you don't, you don't. I'm not going to make this video a subject about him. I'm not trying to be biased on any sides. So figure it out. But he, of course, he name dropped Jim Sterling's son, which is why he's the subject of this video, or at least one of the subjects of the video. He name dropped him a lot. And DSP proceeded to play Pussy and say he didn't talk about him. And I have tweets to show you because tweets in the video is very fucking entertaining, I'm sure. But a good friend, Pixel Buster, sent him a question on Ask FM. And let's see, was YouTube's new copyright system only for a specific elite group of YouTubers? Like, don't worry, we'll get to the actual pre-stream part after this, but I just want to give you a refresher course, not even a refresher course. I just want to give you the rundown of the situation. But blah, blah, blah. They posted a tweet from Dragon Killer. Dragon Killer was quoting what DSP said. Dragon Killer doesn't fabricate quotes. So yeah, anyway. One of the protected video channels has 16 subscribers. I was actually the biggest channel on the list. The rest were tiny, and I'm not even that big a channel. This is a case of YouTube literally looking out for the little guys. And if DSP is legit whining about that, he is being ridiculous. That's what Jim Sterling's son said. No, Jim fucking Sterling's son. And DSP proceeded to go on Twitter. Let's see, response to the YouTube copyright system, less specific elite. YouTube was like Jim Sterling, who's rolling in dough. Jim Sterling retweeted it and put, oh God, DSP is complaining about this. One of the protected videos had 16 subscribers, 16 real, in quotes, elite. DSP fucking responded to that, of course. So you responded to a bait tweet. Yes, a bait tweet. A bait tweet. So Dragon Killer posted a bait tweet that didn't even have Jim Sterling mentioned in it. A bait tweet. Right. But so you responded to a bait tweet from someone who stalks me / makes my life miserable. Dragon Killer makes his life miserable by literally just quoting what he says. I guess, I mean, DSP puts all the haters in one bag. So in DSP's world, Dragon Killer filed copyright strikes and swatted them and everything because he puts all the haters in one bag. But that's a different point for a different day. Over something I didn't actually say. Nice. He didn't actually say it. Didn't actually say it. Dragon Killer posted, misquoted again, the video he's refusing to upload, so it doesn't even exist to him. It's a video. I'm going to put that video in the description as a source video because DSP didn't upload his pre-stream. But it's pretty much what we're going to be going over here. I got a tweet from Eddie B. Cynic something. I always forget his Twitter. But he tweeted me about it. And I saw the tweet way after the pre-stream was over. But because YouTube is YouTube, I can rewind and record. So I rewinded it, recorded it, said I'm going to save this for later. I'm going to listen to it later. But I didn't want to talk about it. I didn't want to upload a video at that moment. I actually was about to. And then I saw somebody else posted it but I'm rambling again. And this is one of the situations where I'm glad I waited on doing something. But this person tweeted him saying stuff. DSP said, no, I'm ultimately a loser since I'm the one misquoted, made fun of, and have a smaller following. Jim is fine, of course. And Jim Sterling, no, DSP said to Jim Sterling, don't appreciate you being misinformed and stirring up drama. Even though DSP name dropped him a million times first. And I get enough, never mention you in a negative light over this. Jim Sterling said, I'll take you at your word, tweet deleted. Then DSP had to make it about himself and fucking whine about YouTube copyright strikes. Now, what I think really happened, I think Jim Sterling watched the video because the video was tweeted to him probably a few times by now. I think he watched the video. And I think after DSP said that he didn't really say that stuff, like, think about it. These are the two options Jim has. He can either reply to it and say, yeah, you did say it, and then send him a link to a video, or he can just say, fuck it, and leave it alone. No matter what way he go, if he say, yeah, you did say that in the video, what is that going to solve? He's going to prove that DSP said something that he's saying he didn't say. Then what? Nothing. So, yeah. And the route I think he took is the boss route. I'm going to call it the boss route. Because let's be completely fucking honest, regardless of, him getting it on Patreon or not, Jim Sterling get way more money than DSP. Jim Sterling gets way more money to the point of why should he sit on Twitter and tell DSP he said something that DSP know he said and that he know he said, when he could just say, fuck it, I'm going to take your word for it, leave it alone, right? It's kind of the thing of like how you have celebrities on Twitter, and some celebrities might block people for shitting on them. I'm not calling Jim Sterling a celebrity, but I'm just making an example. Some celebrities might block people for shitting on them, and some celebrities might reply, which would just be giving the random person more attention. DSP is very far from a celebrity too, by the way. He responds to hate all the time. Or you have some celebrities that just block people. DSP is one of those ones. He's not a celebrity yet again, but he just blocked people, pretty much. He replied to it if you're really salty, or if you think the person was saying something that might get some attention. So he has to reply to it and try to save face. But yeah, I think Jim Sterling took the boss route in this situation. The way I'm seeing it, if I was Jim Sterling, I'd say, okay, I can either reply to DSP and try to prove to him that he said something and he know he said and I know he said, or I can just say, fuck it, I'm making way too much money to try to have some weird argument with this fucking pretty much nobody on Twitter. A nobody compared to him. Like DSP can barely get $1,000 on Patreon, and Jim Sterling is getting 10K, and he get more views on his videos. So if he left Patreon and resorted to putting ads on his videos to make money that way, he can get away with that too. Just saying. But if you we're about to play the video. I'm rambling. We're almost fucking 10 minutes in, 10 minutes of nothing almost. But when you listen to this, you can hear a lot of jealousy coming from DSP, and you can hear a lot of jealous words coming from DSP. And I'm not going to try to pause it much. I'm going to try to let you form your own opinion out of this. And basically what it is a case of somebody sneak dissing somebody in front of hundreds of people and then lying and saying they didn't do it. And the way I feel, if you want to talk about somebody in public, whether it's in front of 20 people, 100 people, 1,000 people, whatever, you're talking about somebody in public. It's not like he sent fucking PMs to somebody. You're talking about somebody in public. You're talking about this motherfucker in public, or you're talking about his situation in public. And you have the audacity to say you didn't say it when hundreds of people could prove that you did. It's kind of phenomenal, to be honest. And it really is the definition of DSP kind of pussying out of a situation. I'm not saying they have to fucking have a fight over it, but holy fucking shit. DSP, let me take 10 seconds to try to come up with a way he could have handled this situation. He could have said, sorry, okay. Off the hip response right here. Sorry if it came across in a negative light. I was just talking to my viewers on the pre-stream, and I didn't know a lot about the situation, so I thought it was YouTube helping out other big people and not YouTube helping out small people and people that do the same stuff as you. I didn't mean for it to sound negative. I didn't mean for it to come across that way. I apologize. Boom. You keep your manhood, right? I mean, DSP already lost it anyway, but you keep your manhood and you don't get in like some weird fight and you don't lie. That's all he had to do. But no, he proceeded to just lie. And Jim Sterling, I don't think Jim Sterling took his word for it. I think Jim Sterling just kind of said, fuck it. You know? Like, what would be the point of him trying to prove to DSP that DSP said something? Anyway, let's get on with this video. If you didn't see it already, you may have if you are a hardcore detractor. But if you're not, you might have not seen this. So this might be pretty interesting. But this was his pre-stream, well, you can see it in the title. His Star Wars Battlefront pre-stream for his second stream. So, yeah, that's why you see the viewer count at the bottom. But this is 6 minutes into his pre-stream, I think, because I recorded pretty much the whole pre-stream. Because I wasn't really listening at the time.
The only other thing that people are talking about, everyone's all in a tizzy today about this announcement about YouTube possibly going to defend YouTubers from false copyright strikes.
I forgot to say what we was even talking about in the beginning. That is sad. That's what I get for recording videos in the middle of the night, and I'm kind of trying to get through it because I don't want to talk about this tomorrow. I want to eat nachos tonight, and I want to do other stuff tomorrow, and I want to edit videos tonight and upload stuff tomorrow and just all kind of shit. But pretty much what the deal is, YouTube are doing this new thing where like people, they're going to defend certain people against false copyright strikes. And Jim Sterling, according to him, he's the biggest person on this list, and the smallest person on the list has 16 subs. So YouTube is backing someone with 16 subscribers that if they get a copyright strike and someone wants to take it to court, YouTube is willing to put up $1 million to go to court against these people. And of course DSP has gotten copyright strikes that he claims are false, half and half. You know, I feel like some of them are, some of them not. You can make your own judgment on that. Like the last one with the fan art that had like booth girls or whatever the shit was. That's just like a nonsense copyright strike, to be honest. But yeah, I mean, if you got somebody else facing it and they don't want their face in it, they can file a copyright strike, I think. Now, should it stick? I don't think so. I mean, if it depends on what kind of video you're making, you know. If you purposely re-uploading something, not doing anything to it, sure, it should get a copyright strike. But if you doing something to it, if you making it a transformative work, I don't think it should be copyright strike. Which pretty much means half the shit on YouTube shouldn't get copyright strikes. But I'm rambling, and I'm giving too much of my own opinion right now. Anyway, this is DSP's thoughts on that.
You know,
and he's very misinformed because it's DSP, and he probably got to have his information from other people because it's DSP, and he name drops because it's DSP.
Things that that basically people are saying, you know, what is it with all the false copyright things that get submitted again on YouTube, and the DMCA takedowns and shit like that. And I guess in particular, the reason why this is becoming news is because they notified a certain select elite group of YouTubers.
Elite.
This is not an exaggeration, and apparently this is the part of the
elite
story
like
most people
the
missed out on. YouTube contacted a certain elite group of
Elite.
YouTubers and said, listen, we believe that your videos are fair use.
By the way, Jim Sterling is far from elite. He don't even have 300,000 subs. You can say his channel is getting big fast, but that's not elite. Just saying.
And therefore, if someone tries to take down one of your videos, we're going to defend you in court. Like, we'll take it to court for you because, you know, we see that too many people are abusing the false flag system. And one of the people is Jim Sterling.
Name drop.
Of the Jimquisition. You know, he's the guy who
Jim Sterling of the Jimquisition. That's his
He
entire
left
identity,
one
I
of those
guess.
mainstream websites. I forget. I think it was like, what was it? The Escapist, I think. And he went and made his own thing and started his
I
own
guess
with Patreon.
Destructor doesn't
He now
exist.
makes something like a ridiculous amount of money a month on Patreon.
Ridiculous amount of money. Doesn't this sound like jealousy? He makes a ridiculous amount of money. For you to, first of all, for you to use the word ridiculous means that you think he's not getting what he deserves, which means you think it means you think he doesn't deserve it. DSP, you don't deserve what you get either. Just saying.
And like something like, from what I'm to understand, $10,000 a month, if not more,
Something you
just on Patreon alone.
whatever.
Plus, he's got videos on YouTube that get tons of views. So the guy basically is
I don't think he
fucking rolling in
makes
dough.
money from ad revenue.
But he's got a lot of viewership. I guess
But
he
whatever.
got a lot of attention
Listen to
when he
this.
worked at the.
And the thing is, he tweeted Jim Sterling. I'm pausing, and I'm sure I'm not supposed to, but he tweeted Jim Sterling talking about how he don't appreciate him, basically only knowing about him based on negative stuff and based on hearsay. But he's talking about him based on hearsay and based on negative stuff. He makes a ridiculous amount, and he also gets a ton of views. Because everyone monetizes all of their videos, of course.
Escapist or whatever.
I don't
If it
know
was
if he
the Escapist, I might
monetizes
be
his
wrong.
videos. I
think
remember he
that-
talked
that's what
about
it
not
was.
doing it one time
And
before. I don't
in
think
particular,
he
the
does,
reason
though.
why everyone's
I
talking
don't
about
think
him is because he had a
monetizes
video, I
Jimquisition.
guess, a year ago or so, where it was a kind of a scathing criticism of an indie game that I guess he had played on the Steam Greenlight, the Steam Greenlight service, where I guess you get to
He
play.
played it on a Steam Greenlight service.
You get to play
It's
a game
not
in
a
advance.
thing.
I guess I don't know necessarily if it's a game that
Early access is an
it's
advanced
available to
dummy.
the public yet. I don't know. Listen, I don't use Steam, and everyone knows
Look
this. No
how
surprise
uninformed
here.
he is.
The bottom line is he played an indie game. He gave it a scathing review, and
Like, how annoyed I am right now. This is how annoyed I am when people talk about DSP and they're uninformed. I've had people hit me up saying, "Did you know DSP started dating Panda Lee when she was 15?" And I'm like, where you heard that from? Do you have proof? Or do you just know about somebody else saying something? What's another good one? I don't know. It's a lot of them with DSP though, and a lot of people just hear something from one person, or somebody say this might have happened, and then another person take it and run with it, and then they give it to somebody else and say it did happen, and that's how you end up with bullshit. And this is the reason why my videos are so fucking long, because I don't want to sit on camera and tell you, yeah, this happened, yeah, this happened, yeah, this happened, and yeah, he said this, yeah, he said this, yeah, he said this. I'd rather let you fucking see him say it, and give you the source video of him saying it if I can, or at least show you the source video of him saying it, so you don't just say, oh, I'm making shit up, because it's easy to say somebody making shit up. If somebody tweet right now and say, Tevin is 35 years old, I can just say they're making it up. I could be 35, but I could just say they're making it up because they're not proving it. Anyway, I'm rambling again.
they basically they
I'm
flagged his
going way
video
off topic.
for it and said, "Oh no, this is copyright."
I remember when this
And
happened, by the way.
Jim was like, "What the fuck is this? Like, this is a review. I have every
It
right
wasn't
to
a
make a
review.
review. You can't say this is copyright abuse. It's a fucking review.
It wasn't a
protected
review.
under fair use."
Wasn't
You
a
know?
review.
And so
Just
now what
saying.
YouTube is kind of saying is, well, if there's a situation like
See, the reason why I'm giving him such a hard time about this is because he hates when people talk about him and only have misinformation and only have hearsay. But literally every fucking time we hear DSP talk about other streamers, other YouTubers, other entertainers, period, he always has hearsay. Oh, Twitch streamers, when they get a donation, they pause the gameplay and say thank you, and they pause the gameplay and beg for donations and beg for you to buy shirts. That's all hearsay, because he doesn't watch anybody. Just like him saying his Jim Sterling thing was him giving a review. It wasn't a review, but that's hearsay. Somebody probably told him Jim made a video, and he just said, oh, it must have been a review. And he too fucking stupid to take 20 minutes out of his day and actually look up what happened. It's not hard to find that video. It's one of his most viewed videos, but he can't do that. He just goes by hearsay and makes shit up. But then when people go by hearsay and make shit up about him, he's being tortured on the internet, and people are stalking him, and people want to ruin his business and want to slander his name.
That where it's blatantly a video that's a review or something that is definitely fair use, and someone tries to hit you with a copyright strike or whatever, that they will protect you and take it to court. But it literally says in the story, if you actually read the fine print, they're only doing it with select people, and it's like a small handful of people, Jim being one of them. And you know,
it's
I guess
DSP
I don't know if it's
going
going to be a
this
test
list.
case or whatever. The bottom line is this, though, and everyone wants my opinion.
The bottom line is this: DSP is not affected. So fuck it. Let me just hate on Jim Sterling for the next 5 minutes.
Is it a step in the right direction? Of course it is. Because YouTube should have had these things, these safeguards in place from day one.
No.
You shouldn't open a business,
YouTube
have a
didn't
copyright
expect that
system
from
in
day one.
place,
YouTube wasn't
and then
even
have
about
actually
that.
no verification
When YouTube
system
started, it wasn't about
and no
that.
kind of fucking you know, safeguards for anyone who uploads stuff to your business, especially the people who are giving you the content so you can make money on your fucking website. Like, that's the point of YouTube. People make creative content, YouTube profits, and the people are able to make some money on it as well.
The point
So
of YouTube
why are
was
there no
never
legal
to make
safeguards
money.
in place now to protect people? It makes
That's
no
what
fucking
YouTube turned
sense.
into.
It's completely
Or whatever.
ludicrous. It really is
It's
really
the rapper
dumb.
from Atlanta. It's ludicrous.
And the bottom line is, you know, right now, I'm sure what they're going to do is they're going to do a test case with Jim and other people. You know, it's not just Jim's like the biggest gaming person, I guess they're doing.
Name drop.
And then I guess there's going to be people in other fields, probably music and stuff like that. And they're going to, you know, say they're going to stick up for him. I don't know. We'll see.
Something like
Will
this?
anyone actually try to
Wait
take
till
them to court?
Till they get a copyright
or is it just
strike?
these false flagging bullshit which happens, right? To try to scare people out of stuff, right? I could tell you guys this.
Plenty of us.
You know, YouTube has actually done a pretty good job in regards to when I get false copyright strikes against my account of at least getting my streaming capabilities back.
Of course, it's about
you
him
know?
again.
Like I've lost my streaming capabilities multiple times now since August, but within a couple days, I've been getting them back.
Because
so in that regard, I'm pleased. You know that at least they're being receptive, and you know, let's face it, I'm certainly not a big guy. You know what I mean? I'm certainly not a big guy on YouTube. I fully acknowledge that. And the fact that they were able to hook me up and get me my streaming capabilities back is certainly something positive, right? Do I think that YouTube is going to defend me?
Life.
No. Fuck no. YouTube is going to look for their big dogs, the people that are bringing in the views, the people that are bringing in ad revenue, and I'm neither of that. You know, I'm the little guy. Let's face it, I used to be the big guy, and then a lot of things happened, some of which were within my control, some of which were not within my control, a lot of which have to do with YouTube completely changing their fucking systems and the way they work anyway.
YouTube changed their system like 4 years ago, and he still ain't adjust to it, and he still bitches about it. Fucking amazing.
And, you know, I'm not at the top anymore. Maybe at one point, maybe if this had happened... you know, in 2010 when I got the false copyright strikes from Ubisoft,
Steve Jones.
Maybe YouTube would have gone to bat for me back then, but that was a long time ago, you know. And the bottom line is now they're being very touchy about it, and even when I've had concrete evidence that a false copyright strike against me was false because all the information submitted was false, YouTube said, well, just to protect our own asses, we're still not going to remove the strike. You got to wait 2 weeks. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? There's concrete, black and white evidence that this is horse shit. And you're going to tell me that I need to sit around and wait.
Concrete evidence that information is fake.
Because you guys are so fucking scared of litigation. You're so terrified of being sued. You know? 99% of the time, if you've got false information that's being submitted to your website for a copyright strike, who the fuck, how is there any kind of a... How is there any kind of a risk of litigation? The person who submitted the copyright strike has no leg to stand on.
But what if it's not false?
Legally. So there's no chance of litigation.
You don't know.
Silly.
That's why you don't take
really
the chance.
Is silly. But here's the thing. Like I said, it's a step in the right direction. If there becomes a legal precedent, let's say that one of these assholes does try to false flag someone and someone gets involved legally, YouTube steps in legally, right? And all that. Then... great, because then maybe people will stop fucking doing it. And maybe, just maybe, YouTube will wise the fuck up. They'll improve their fucking, they'll improve their copyright system so that you actually need concrete evidence Not that you could just false flag everything on the fucking website with no evidence at all, because it's a bunch of automated bullshit. It's a
It makes
joke
no
right
sense.
now, you know? I don't know. See, here's the thing. I would love to say, well, I'm so positive about it, but I've been so negatively affected by this fucking system.
Because he's been negatively affected by copyright strikes. He isn't positive about people maybe not being able to file false copyright strikes anymore. Okay.
That I'm so angry about it, you know. Let's face it. The reason
It
I'm in
was
the
all it's
situation I'm in
old,
right now,
dude.
where for 2 months I've lost tons of viewership and thousands of dollars that I should have
Thousands of
made on my
dollars.
business because YouTube fucked me. Because their system is a piece of
Thousands.
shit. So this is definitely a step in the right
Why do
direction,
you have a
but
Patreon again?
I'd like
You
it a
made
little
all
bit
that
more
money?
accelerated, especially in the fact that I've been one of the targets of this abuse. You know, wow, that's great. Jim Sterling, who makes over $10,000 a month on Patreon, who makes tens of thousands of dollars on videos on YouTube, and who's one of the big dogs on YouTube, gets legal protection.
Makes tens of thousands on videos on YouTube. Tens of thousands.
But the guy who runs a small business and has lost a lot of
So Jim Sterling don't run a small business because he makes more money than you. That's not how that works. You don't have to make a little bit of money to be called a small business. And your channel isn't a business. And Jim Sterling has a real website. You have a fucking forum.
money that's screwing me over.
Jim Sterling writes actual reviews. You just turn the camera on and talk.
Do I get the protection? You know, who really needs the protection?
Jim Sterling doesn't need protection against false copyright strikes because he makes a lot of money. DSP logic. That's what he's trying to feed us right here. He doesn't need protection against copyright strikes because he makes money. But because DSP broke, and because it's his fault he's broke, he needs protection from copyright strikes. Mind blown.
It's not the big guy. Jim Sterling had one video affected. One video. I've had my entire business negatively fucking affected.
Now, his business was affected because of copyright strikes. It's that simple. It's not the amount of videos. The amount of videos doesn't matter. The point is that it fucking happened. Just like Jim Sterling business, if you call a YouTube channel a business, just like his business was affected by a copyright strike. It doesn't matter how many videos it happened to. It matters that it happened. Whether you get one copyright strike, you get 20 copyright strikes. If they're all false, at the end of the day, it's going to show you having none. So it doesn't matter how many happen. But you see, DSP, he got to make it about himself. He got to make it about himself. He's got to make it to seem like he's still the underdog. Motherfucker, you're the underdog. It's your fault. You're the underdog. You shouldn't be the underdog. But
I've
whatever,
had, no
rambling
streaming
again.
capability. I'm out of the YouTube Google search. So
Your
who really
fault,
needs the
'cause you
protection? Is it
deleted
the
all
big
those
dogs?
videos.
No.
Big dogs.
But that's who YouTube's going to focus on, of course.
You done yet?
Anyway, sorry, I just got an email.
You fucking checking an email about some random game. But yeah, this video is less than 30 minutes long. Happy about that. Hashtag sneak dissing if you watch the whole video. Appreciate you for showing up. Let me know how you feel about this situation and how you feel about DSP with this nonsense, with his obvious talking about someone behind their back and talking about someone behind their back in public, and then proceeding to say he didn't talk about them behind their back when people obviously have proof that he did. But let's go back to the Dragon Killer tweet and see how much was misquoted. Since this is misquoted in bait, this is only for a specific elite group of YouTubers like Jim Sterling, who's rolling in dough, not me. It doesn't look like a misquote to me, DSP. But whatever. He misquoting you and ruining your life, apparently. I didn't know he was doing all of that, but yep. So that's the thing when it comes to DSP. In DSP's world, we have to always listen to him and take everything he says as truth. But if someone talks about him, don't believe it. Wait until DSP tells you. If I say DSP tripped falling when he was walking in the store, if I got a fucking video of it, don't believe me. Wait until DSP says it. If he says I didn't fall, you watching that video, that's a fucking shopped video. They photoshopped my face on that dude and made it look like I was falling. No, believe him. DSP is always right. DSP never lies. DSP never betrays people trust. Never, ever, ever. But yeah, like I said, I believe Jim Sterling just made just took the boss route and pretty much said, I don't give a fuck about any of this shit. I have way better stuff going on. I don't need to be worrying about what some asshole on YouTube that can't even get 2,000 views for a video is talking about. So I'm gonna ignore it, which is what DSP should have did years ago when people first started talking about him in videos. Of course, videos like this would still exist, but people like me wouldn't get as much attention, if that makes sense. If DSP just ignored the haters, you know, or at least didn't handle it the way he handled it. It's a few ways you can handle it. You can handle it the right way, the wrong way, in between. DSP handled it the wrong way. In between would have been okay. The right way, maybe, you know, subjective of if you're doing something right, if you're doing something wrong. But anyway, I'm rambling again. Moral of the story, kids. If you get in a situation like this, take the boss route like Jim Sterling did. And if you can't take the boss route, don't, like, I'm making assumptions. I'm assuming Jim Sterling took the boss route and he knows that DSP said what he said. But if he didn't, if he really did just take his word, no, don't do that. Don't take anyone's word for anything. If someone walk up to you and say, this happened with this person, I don't care if you like the person talking to you. I don't care if you don't like the person you talking to. I don't care who you like, who you don't like. Don't take someone's word for something. I'm not saying I don't trust people, but I'm saying don't take someone's word for it. That's pretty much the best way I can put it. You know, whatever. Like, perfect example, and I'm gonna just leave it at that. If I walked up to you and said, DSP lost his machinima contract, I have no proof, but I know it happened. Just believe me. If you can possibly find proof that happened, or if you can possibly find proof that I'm wrong, please go to find that proof. Do not just take my word for it. And I'm talking in general. You could be talking about fucking Beyonce. You could be talking about Barack Obama. You could be talking about fucking Chief Keef. You could be talking about anybody, anything. You can not like this person, not like that person, like that person, like that person. Don't believe shit. And if you do believe everything, if you do want to believe something you hear from somebody, don't spread the bullshit unless you know it's true. Because we got enough people spreading bullshit and they don't know it's true. Like I said, motherfuckers message me saying crazy shit about DSP. And I have to reply and be like, no, that's not the case. That didn't happen. That's the case. That did happen. And the less people that needs to happen with across the board, across the world, with everybody in the world, the better the world is going to be. Kind of rambled again towards the end of that, but appreciate you showing up and watching the video. And make sure to like if you support the cause. And I'm probably going to record another video right after this, but I'll see you in the next one.